Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Could I have found some amazing terrain that works perfectly to scale with X-Wing? Let's check it out in this video. So recently I looked at some destructible terrain from the area of operations line of Death Ray Design's new terrain. This is some really cool stuff. I did a quick review of this. We put these together. It was a little complicated because I'm not used to putting MDF wood terrain together. So there was a lot of extra steps and there's a lot of extra detail on this, but we've got it completed now, and 2 more sets, all of which are fully built and painted now. And I wanted to take a look at this and populate a whole map. And also I decided, you know what, this actually looks like it's pretty good terrain for maybe like the Millennium Falcon to land on top of it or so. It's not in the exact same scale, but it is awfully close. This terrain is about 6mm terrain. It is in scale with things like Steel Rift and Battletech and similar games, so it's going to work for all of that. But come to realize that those games aren't too dissimilar from games like X-Wing Miniatures games, and wouldn't it be cool just to set up cool dioramas and have some real fun with that? So that's what we're going to look at in today's video. I want to show you guys the painted terrain and how it all fits together if you were to pick up all 3 sets. We're going to be also looking at other sets like the fire stations and the police precinct. So we're going to take a look at all of that. But first we're looking at the burrows. So I figured I'd show you guys a little bit of that, plus the double-sided acrylic terrain that they have here. Also, that really helps bring your terrain to life. Now, this is destructible terrain, which means you can completely blow up the buildings and leave ruins in the wake with the same outline in the imprint here. And that also means you are going to have the option to have double the terrain if you wanted to have some terrain that was both kind of destroyed, and you can have like basically this building stand on its own, which is very cool stuff. There are also windows inside of these that have all been glued on the inside. So we have those, and of course they're not going to be present. They're all blown out on the destroyed versions of these. There are also some extra little bits on top. For example, like these little buildings here. You can modular those. You can set them down on the side if you want. You can put them on top if you want to have bigger things to put, like bigger spaceships or bigger, have your mechs and other things kind of land on top of the buildings. You can do that as well. Now the brickwork along the side of these was really easy to paint. I put some contrast paint on here and kind of primed in like a brown and dry brushed gray over the top. It really didn't take very long. You're going to notice that some of the windows have a little bit of a white on them. That doesn't necessarily reflect the acrylic. It's actually me putting too much super glue on some of the pieces where other of the pieces don't have that problem at all. And again, this was me being kind of a noob with this being my first set that I put together, and I put too much glue on some of the paneling. That's where, and not realizing that it was going to dry white. But I figured that's okay because that could reflect some bullet holes and some kind of scraping in some of the buildings, whereas other buildings don't have as much, which is a pretty cool thing. So I really like this one. It's kind of more like a school. Here we've got some residential buildings. I really like the brickwork on these, and you've got some of the, like having it painted now brings it more to life. We've got a lot of extra detail on all of these, and I like how they stack, and it takes up less of a profile when you're trying to put it all away. I really love the way that these buildings kind of come out and have the little extra sitting area. Again, like I talked about in my last video, they're very, very pretty, but I think they come even more to life once they're painted. And I try to do a little dry brushing around some of the edge to make some like explosions or debris, make it look a little bit burnt on the inside, how that goes in. So it's nice and tight, and it's a good fit. And we have our last building from the burrows here, again with another optional piece that can go on top. There's a lot of things that you can do with these little air conditioning ducts. You can kind of put them wherever you want, or you don't have to use them at all if you want. But you've already seen these buildings in my other video. Let's take a look at the rest of the buildings from the set. Next up, we get the fire stations. Now, this is a smaller set. There's a couple of things that make this one stand out, though. It's a little bit more straightforward. We don't have as many parts that kind of stick out from the fronts of the buildings. As you can see, I didn't screw up with the glass here as much, so a lot cleaner of the glass. But we do have indented doors on this one, which kind of are cool. Like a fire truck could kind of go right on through, which I thought was a very cool thing. We have that both in the front and the back, making it a little bit more realistic. And I did a little bit brighter red on these. I wanted these to kind of look like they belonged in the same city as the other buildings, but to stand out as a little bit different. Of course, on the inside, we have the destroyed versions as well. And we can, of course, set those up independently or have them together. We also have our larger building here, which does have the optional top piece, which we can put on or put off. I did some dry brushing in black on the outside. I wanted this one, perhaps, I don't know why I wanted the fire station to look like it had caught fire, but there's a little bit of that. Maybe that was some of the irony from this city. But we have a lot more windows on this one. It is a lot busier. We have room for three engines in the back, and then we have our one door here on the front. Or I don't know if this one is actually the back and the other is the front. I'm not sure. I guess it can go whichever way you want. There's a lot of the ruined terrain on the inside of this one too. We have a whole lot going on with this one. A whole lot of floor space that managed to survive the destruction of this building, and those are our fire stations. Next, we have our police precinct. This is going to be a 3-building set, and this is probably the biggest out of all of the 3 as far as the number of pieces of wood and windows, and there's a whole lot of this. This is actually the smallest building in the set, and it's already pretty large. It has a little side building over here, double doors in front, optional piece on top, and I decided to paint the bricks in blue on here just to reflect that these are maybe police buildings, so I wanted to give them a different kind of brick or a different shade of color to make them stand out a little bit. But of course, you can do whatever you want. We also have when it's destroyed, here we go. We have our interior like that as well, with our extra little footprint for the side building. Again, it's not a detachable side building, although you probably could build it that way if you wanted to. It's definitely an attached side building. This part is removable, though, of course. So there's that one. We have a curved building here, which is very cool. I'm very much digging this one. This one does have a kind of an exterior piece that you can keep unglued while you're painting, so you can put your windows in after you're completed with that. We also have some modular pieces on top. We have this one, as well as a helipad on top too. And this is the one that kind of gave me the idea of maybe a ship landing on top of it, because you can easily kind of take like, maybe you've got your Lambda shuttles coming in, and it's going to land on top of this building or something like that right there. So you have a lot of cool options that you can do, but this can come off too. You can keep the top completely open if you want. We have a lot of windows on this one. There's a whole lot of activity. It's a very busy building with tons of detail. And I spent a little more time. I gave it some extra highlights. I gave them some green doors and some yellow accents on the bottom floor, as well as the blue bricks to kind of help this one fit into the motif of the police precinct. We have one more here. And this is the biggest building out of the whole set. This one is a big 4-story building, and this one is massive. It does have 2 side buildings that kind of come off of the side of it, and then we also have our top little area as well. This one spins all the way around. It very much has a very busy feeling with a lot of detail on here. And again, just like all the other buildings, these ones are fully destroyable. I forgot to take this one off as well. So we have a lot of options. Again, we can set these up as destroyed buildings. We can kind of use both if we want to double our terrain, or we can just put them all together. So there's a whole lot here, but we could also populate this and make a whole city with all 3 of these sets combined. Let's do that. All right, so now I've got a lot of these kind of set up, and I've got a little bit of fancy stuff done here. We got a couple of rebels kind of hanging out and staging their presence here in the burrows, but over in the precinct, looks like the Empire has taken over the police precinct. Let's take a closer look at that. All right, so here we go. I always thought that this would be kind of cool to have kind of TIE fighters parked out in front. I figure that kind of looks really cool. We've got some of the capital ships kind of flying in from behind. It makes for a nice diorama. And we have some staged in front of the fire department too. A TIE Brute in front of the fire department, which also is pretty cool. But these are not particularly useful in X-Wing, since you can't really play the game with these. They're actually useful for Steel Rift. So let's set up some of that stuff. All right, so here we are. We've kind of got lots of different stuff from Steel Rift lined up, and it really does fit perfectly here. We've got room on top of the buildings for different vehicles to land. We've got our double-sided acrylic terrain. We've got our buildings providing all sorts of cover and just thematically appropriate stuff. We've got vehicles kind of coming out of the fire station here. Maybe it wasn't actually a fire station. Maybe it was actually a surprise base for the green team, right? I don't even know who the green team is. I just wanted to paint all of the ground support vehicles, kind of a combination of, you know, the way motor pools were when I was in. You had half of the stuff was green, half of the stuff was tan. You never knew where you were going to go, right? So, yeah, no, very, very cool. So, yeah, awesome looking terrain. I did say that I was going to kind of revisit this once all of these were built and painted, so I wanted to do that. If you want to check any of this awesome terrain out, you can check it out over at the link in the description below, and it's very cool stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy what you see here. All right, big thanks to Death Ray Designs for sending all of this out. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun putting this together, a lot of fun painting it, and kind of bringing this whole city to life, which is very cool. They have a lot of other terrain and games as well. You can check out Steel Rift over there. You can also check out this terrain and a lot of other things too. Head over to deathraydesigns.com to check out, and the link will be in the description below. And also big thanks to my patrons for continuing to support this channel. You guys are absolutely out of this world. Thank you so much for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all, and always wash your socks.